podcast. Welcome back to the Commute. Let's talk about Apple TV. Watched a little bit of each, which there's really not many. I mean, 5 that have any kind of hope of interest for me, and probably only a couple I'll really follow through to the end. But before we get into the shows specifically, because those could probably be their own episodes each, Apple TV as a service, it kind of sucks. And it's weird to say that because Apple makes really good quality stuff. You might not like paying the Apple tax, but you have to admit that the products they make are good. iTunes had a crappy interface for the longest time, but it was probably the #1 music marketplace for a very long time. They created the podcast, they created the iPod, which is a shame they don't make it anymore. But all in all, their track record is very good. So when I started watching the shows on Apple TV, I was shocked at the horrible interface. It's clunky, it doesn't work right. I can't download it on my smart Roku TV that I have in my home gym, which sucks because I watch a lot of TV on the rower. I haven't even checked on my Xbox yet. Most of the time I'm watching Apple TV on one computer monitor when I work from home on the other one. It's stupid. I understand you want people to buy your physical device of an Apple TV, but to limit your market to only people who are willing to shell out additional money to watch your 5 shows, that's a pretty stupid idea. And not only that, but the interface on the computer is clunky and bad. When I went over to my Fire Stick, it was equally as clunky and bad. It doesn't really hold your place within a show, so if I'm working on something and I have to turn the TV off to concentrate, I'll pause it, walk away. I have to restart the episode and figure out where I was, or sometimes it plays the episode previous even though I was already in the middle of the next one or even toward the end. I was even watching Morning Show today, and I watched one episode and I had to quit out, go to the show's main page, find the next episode, click on it, watch that one, quit out, find the next page. When I went to the show page, it said resume series, so I hit that, and it brought me back 2 episodes previous. It's stupid. And I know this is maybe the definition of first world problems, that me watching TV streaming on the internet in high definition isn't convenient, but in a world where everyone streams everything and Netflix has the bar set so high and they're very public about it, I mean, whoever was programming for Apple TV probably already had a Netflix account, but they could have gotten one and seen how they did it and just copied that. Wow, that's a novel idea. And the weird thing about Apple TV is that they don't have a bunch of content from other creators on there at the time. They're totally on their own. Netflix is more Netflix produced things than not, or they pick up things and it's Netflix released even if they didn't make it. But when Netflix started, you could find loads of stuff on there. They spent all the money up front to make sure there was stuff worth watching. With HBO Max coming and all these other things, maybe it's just hard for Apple to get things, but you have to figure that one of the richest companies in the entire world, by a very good margin, shouldn't have a hard time writing a check to stream a show for a year while they get things running. And I bring an Apple TV, and the sound is weak. It's bad. It's kind of on par with how degraded and compressed Disney Plus stuff is, which is a whole other thing that I'd like to get into at some point, because I love everything about Disney Plus, but man, that streaming is bad quality. I was watching the Morning Show. You don't really need big sound for it. But then you got the Jason Momoa show, which you might want to enjoy the effects a little bit more. Or you have, I can't even think of the name of it, their space show, which is a really cool concept. What if Russia beat us to the moon? How does that change our national identity? You want to hear and feel the rocket ships blasting off. You want to feel like you're in mission control. You don't want to feel like you might as well be watching it on your phone with the one built-in mono speaker. If I didn't have it for free, I wouldn't be paying for it. The space show's pretty cool. The Morning Show was really well acted and really well written. Rob McElroy, I forget his exact name, Mac from It's Always Sunny, has a show on there called Mythic Quest that just started today. It's kind of like a light version of Silicon Valley meets Felicia Day's The Guild. It's not bad. None of this is worth a monthly fee on its own. So if you're on the fence about adding another streaming service, I'd hold off, honestly. Well, thanks for taking this ride with me, even though we were parked for half the time. Be sure to go to SoWizardPodcast.com for reviews, recommendations, merchandise, and more. Also, be sure to listen to So Wizard Podcast every single week wherever you get your podcasts. So Wizard Podcast can be found on Patreon, where for as little as $1 a month, you can get bonus content and help support the show. We have con season coming up, so there'll be tons of videos on our YouTube channel, so please remember to subscribe to that. Just today, I recorded probably 15 different Star Wars videos. I'm making them shorter, cutting them up in individual chunks, so I can get them to you in more easily digestible pieces, instead of me rambling for 30 minutes about a galaxy far, far away. We love hearing feedback, so drop us a note in the comments, or get a hold of us on social media. All the accounts can be found after the show and in the show notes. Thanks.